ever do those things, and I'm planning on making a full response in detail if I need to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new Slop Meal video. I hope you're having a good day, and in today's video we're continuing to talk about these Skeppy allegations. If you are unaware, I recently made a video going over all the most recent Skeppy allegations, including some of the most absurd things we have ever read in allegations. I highly recommend that you go and check that video out before watching this video if you have no idea what I'm about to speak about. But there have been lots of updates in the situation that I do want to go over in this video, so without further ado, let's dive straight into the topic at hand. One of the accusers wrote, "One last post. These are my DMs with Skeppy. There is nothing incriminating in them. I wonder why, but it does show that we interacted almost daily, then suddenly stopped after the voice call. He responded once 2 weeks later, but we didn't play. Us saying H means get on Hypixel." Goes without saying that of course this user has literally said that nothing incriminating has happened in these messages, and these messages would only go to contribute to this idea that they even spoke in the first place. But my idea of this and why I'm so confused is, why wouldn't you post this with your original set of allegations? Why wouldn't you link a video like this in the document when trying to prove that this call did happen, that you did have these interactions, instead of just Minecraft screenshots? These allegations are completely rushed, incredibly sloppy, and are done incredibly badly. Now this user has uploaded this video where they go over their messages with Skeppy, trying to prove that they did in fact speak by clicking on the profile to show that this isn't edited messages, that this isn't something that they have manufactured since the allegations were released. But I'm not going to sit here and go over these messages. This person, this accuser themselves, has said that nothing incriminating even happened in these messages, and that half the time it was just talking about Hypixel. You can also see that they had the call in January, and then afterwards, even then, they were still messaging each other H, asking to play Hypixel. It doesn't seem like an immediate cutoff like this has been interpreted as. Well, I think it's also important to note that Skeppy has actually said more on this situation on his community tab. A quick update for you. I mentioned at the end of my last video, but I'm working to address false allegations I've been receiving. Your patience is appreciated. I prefer to do this right rather than to try to rush out a response. I won't be posting to YouTube in the meantime. And this is what a content creator should do. Anybody facing any severe allegations or any type of accusations whatsoever, whatever they might be, the severity of them, even if they are filled with flaws, holes, and people are pointing them out, criticizing them, they should be taking their time to make an actual response, making sure that they fully debunk them or fully respond to them as a whole. People really don't seem to understand that and are incredibly unfair in trying to pressure somebody to respond absolutely immediately. We're not talking about it's been a couple of weeks, a month, a year. We're talking it's been a couple of days. I mean, when Skeppy uploaded a video soon after the allegations, one of the top comments was saying he would do anything to avoid responding to the allegations, even though they'd been out for basically a day at that point, maybe even less. Skeppy has every right to take his time responding to these allegations, making sure that he does it properly, even if we are sitting here critiquing these allegations, saying that some of the stuff that we are reading is completely outlandish. There are people that are 100% believing that Skeppy has done these things immediately without waiting for his response or without waiting for proper proof of said allegations. I mean, the Twitter user Midas just blatantly spread these allegations around without knowing if they were true or not, just taking it as gospel. To be fair, Midas is mentally challenged very, very clearly, and also this is the Minecraft community, the community that just laps up anything that is said about one of their content creators that they used to watch. People don't care about the thing called evidence in that community. People will just take what people are saying as fact. Ladies and gentlemen, we have also had an update on one of the other Skeppy allegations, the allegations I'm calling the Lowkey Skeppy allegations for very obvious reasons. We spoke about these allegations briefly towards the end of the last video. These were the allegations that were done on a PowerPoint slideshow with very brief bullet points and weren't taking their own allegations seriously. This person wants to remain anonymous and was talking about allegedly being by Skeppy by describing it as Lowkey got raped, then followed it up with "it's okay though." It's honestly some of the most bizarre and grotesque set of allegations I have read, and not because of the actions described, but the way the accuser went about it. We have now been given more updates and more context to do with this allegation, so without further ado, let's dive straight into that. More context, please read. I think the most aggravating part of this is that people aren't seeing that obviously the details aren't there. Well, no, people are realizing that, and people are critiquing your allegations based off that, and if you want people to understand the full scope of your allegations and what allegedly happened to you, then you actually have to come out with that. You actually have to say those things. You can't leave guesswork for people to make their minds up to think, oh, that might have possibly happened. I have no idea what happened. You have to come out and explain what happened and what you're trying to actually accuse Skeppy of. Like, this wasn't a one-time thing. We had a sexual relationship before and even after, stupidly. The fact that I was so drunk made me set it aside for 4 years now, and I only brought it up to show this pattern. The fact I was so drunk made me set it aside for 4 years now is worded incredibly poorly. It makes it sound like they've been internally drunk for the past 4 years. It's very clear that this person has rushed this out in response to backlash over their allegations rather than wanting to substantiate their allegations further. This is why I used the word iffy in my statement, because we were both drunk. I was just under the drinking age. You can know that you had some kind of sex without remembering too. Waking up naked next to a naked man in bed full of kind of tells you all you need to know. Plus he talked about us having sex, so clearly he remembered and I did not. I don't even remember leaving the club that night. Again, the phrasing of this is just incredibly grotesque and weird. There is just no need for half of this, and as well they are acting like we were meant to know this, that we were meant to know that Skeppy was allegedly bragging about this when they didn't say that in their allegations. All we got was Lowkey got raped. It's okay though. Also, like, yeah, the PowerPoint was goofy. I made it to show my friends at home my experience through college that first year. It had slang and jokes because that was the point. I said low-key because again, we were both drunk and I was aware of that. There's that excuse for the low-key thing. That makes absolutely zero sense. What made more sense was you were just joking around. Well, I don't know why you added that. Even then, if this was a thing you were showing to your friends and you were joking around about this, why would you use this to then launch your official allegations against somebody publicly? Why would you send this to somebody to platform if this was to be sent to your friends? It was to be joking around about it. Why would you want this to be how you voice your allegations publicly? And then you can't get mad when people find this weird and peculiar. You can't then get on your moral high ground and do this. He was just less drunk than I was. I wasn't going to edit my original PowerPoint because it just shows that even at the time I was aware that something wrong probably happened but was trying to avoid the reality. For me and many others, it just made you look absolutely psychotic, and it was an incredibly bizarre thing to do. If you are launching official allegations against somebody and this is something that genuinely happened to you, you're not going to be talking about your allegations this way. You're not going to be platforming your allegations this way. It's just an incredibly bizarre thing to do. Especially because no doubt you would want people to take your allegations seriously and genuinely listen to you. People aren't going to listen to you or take it seriously when you were describing things with low-key. I feel like editing the PowerPoint would have made it look like I was faking when I actually was not. That genuinely makes no sense. No one would be thinking that, because why would you post a PowerPoint about your accusations in the first place? Surely you'd want to actually make serious allegations if you wanted this to be platformed publicly and for people to take it seriously. Again, none of this makes any sense. This is just incredibly bizarre, and I can't believe this is genuinely something that's happened. Oh, and to add to all of it, he told me that I puked on the floor of his apartment that night when we got back, and then still slept with me. I have not seen allegations handled this poorly in a very long time. It's an absolute mess, and I don't blame people for not taking this seriously whatsoever. I'm not taking this allegation seriously because the way that people have gone about this, the way people have gone about excusing this, the way people have gone about describing this is genuinely insane. Then alongside this, somebody who's claiming to be this accuser's best friend or one of their friends has come out to talk about this further, and this has been platformed by one of the other accusers too. I'm her best friend. She blacked out and he told her what happened the next day. I can't really say anything else because I wasn't there, but he made it clear that he was sober enough to remember everything while she wasn't. It may not have been, and she never claimed it was. She never claimed it was, did she? She explicitly said she did. Yes, she did claim it. Yeah, she very much did. What an absolutely insane and incoherent thing that makes absolutely zero sense. But it understandably shook her up. These photos sound unserious because they were intentionally written that way for a PowerPoint night with our close friend. Why are you using screenshots from your quote-unquote PowerPoint night with your friends to launch serious allegations publicly against a known content creator? Why is that something that you are doing? Surely you would want people to take your allegations seriously and not be able to dismiss them because of this. That is genuinely absurd. They weren't written to be seen by others in this context. She shared them only because it summarizes. If they were never intended to be shared, why would you share these? It paints your accusations in just an absolutely incredibly silly light. 3 of 3. Most of their encounters without having to explain too much of it in depth years later. These are screenshots from our personal messages from when she and Zach were friends. April 1st, 2021. Bruh, I would walk to Zach's apartment thinking that we were meeting here. We were not. Now I'm waiting in downtown Tampa at night for his Uber to get back. August 4th, 2022. Zach is coming to Disney. October 13th, 2023. Something blurred. Skeppy is here. This person that has released these has also said this about the never claimed it was rape thing. No, that's what it says on the slide. That PowerPoint is years old. She is no longer outwardly claiming it was. As said in her current statement, it was just a bad and sketchy situation all round. I was not there myself, so I don't know much more than that. I am talking about her present statement, not the old PowerPoint. She has not publicly claimed it was rape throughout this current allegation. I'm sorry to break it to you, but yeah, that PowerPoint is part of the current allegation because it was released on behalf of her, the anonymous user. It was released as her statement against Skeppy in current day, even if it was old and she doesn't believe that. That's what was released, and that was claiming that she got raped by Skeppy. Even if that's not what she believes now, that's something that was put out in reference to it only very recently. If she didn't think that it was rape anymore, she shouldn't have sent that PowerPoint to somebody for that to be publicly posted. That's just logical. This person has been arguing with people about this quite a lot over on Twitter, which has just muddied the waters even more for this allegation and made things 10 times worse. Well, we're not quite done yet, because the Cyrogen person that was mentioned in the allegations has actually spoken out. I take no joy in doing all of this. I couldn't believe what I was hearing in December. It was very hard for her to trust that I wouldn't just run off back to my friend to protect him. That's not the right thing to do, no matter how close you are with someone. The only thing I lose in this situation is my friend. Well, I thought he was. I thought this random ghostings throughout the years were just normal for him. Apparently there's more going on as to why he's so secretive. Unfortunately, the truth is revealing itself here. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about you. He cares about what he wants and how he's received. He'll probably get a slap on the wrist and move on. That's the world we live in, unfortunately. To the good people in this world, you're not alone. Fight back and don't give up. I'm sorry, have these people seen like a magical folder of evidence that for some reason we haven't seen? I don't know why people just blindly believe allegations without waiting for the other side of the story. Even if you genuinely believe these accusers, you should be waiting to hear Skeppy's side to get the full picture. It's not right to just immediately assume that, yeah, Skeppy is 100% guilty before his response if you do believe these accusers. I'm no content creator. I'm just a guy who sometimes makes funny videos with my friend. I have a normal life. I'm not in the space. I chose long ago not to stay along. I'm sure glad I did. Apparently, the constraints are flying out young girls and giving gifts to minors. That is an incredibly disingenuous and disgusting view of this situation, and to word it that way is grotesque. No matter if you believe it or not, the patterns are there, and he is just going to keep doing it. So hopefully, what this does is put people on alert for awareness that someone is taking advantage of his position of power and using it to manipulate people. My heart breaks for all the victims throughout the years, vocal or not. You have a voice, and you have a support. I believe karma gets everyone in the end. Treating people poorly adds up to loneliness, which I believe is a fair punishment. You won't see it, but here live it. So yeah, that is the update with the Skeppy allegations. Of course, this situation is far from over, as it very much seems that Skeppy is working on a response, and these people will probably say more stuff, which of course we will be covering on the channel when that does happen. But I've been your host Samuel, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about this, so please feel free to comment down below, subscribe, and hit the notification bell while you're down there, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.